Hello everyone and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. I am Jeff, aka Alien Rat, and we are starting a new series today, as you can see, Kerbal Space Program. So let's get started. And we will start a new game here. We are playing in career. Sandbox mode is good because it unlocks everything, lets you do whatever you want. Science, that's also fun. You don't have to worry about money or anything. But career mode is what we are going to be choosing here. Take caps lock off and start typing. Alien Rat Season 1. We are going to choose the NASA flag because yay NASA, who wouldn't want to be NASA? And we'll leave everything on the normal settings and go ahead and start this. So for those of you new to this game, this right here is the Kerbal Space Center. And we have Gene Kerman here welcoming us to said Space Center. Yes. Hi Gene, how are you today? Nice to meet you, he says. I'm Gene Kerman, Flight Director, and your guide for this quick introduction. Since I have played this before, I'm going to skip these dialogues. There's going to be another one when we go into the vehicle assembly building. And I will show you that after we visit Gene here in the in the whatever this building is called. I can't remember now. So, we have contracts. This is what's good about career mode. It gives you direction on here's what you can do. And we're playing the 1.0.4 version of the game. They are going to add new contracts and whatnot. But for now, we're going to just play with these contracts that we have. The first one we will take is launch our first vessel. And at the command center here, the active contracts that we can have, the max are 2. So we're just going to do that for right now. Gather scientific data from Kerbin. We will also do that. We will leave these other 2 to do at a later time. Now, over here on the right, we have our tracking station. Right in the center is the vehicle assembly building, and at the end of this long track is the launch pad. We have the command center here, and we can click on any mission control. That's what it's called. We can right-click on any of these and upgrade them. Right now, we only have 50,000 whatever their money units are called, so we will not be upgrading anything. Not yet. We have research and development here. Note on this, in running on my computer. It's only running on my computer that this happens, but when we go into research and development, the game crashes randomly whenever I click on a node, so I will be skipping over that part in this gameplay. If you want to see what all of that really looks like, then you're just going to have to go see somebody else or wait until I get a new computer. But yeah, we're going to push through it for now. And here we are with Werner von Kerman in the vehicle assembly building. Thank you, Werner. Our contracts were for launching a vessel. And we have default missions, or contracts, which is setting speed records, distance, altitude records, all that. And the other is gather scientific data from Kerbin. Let's go ahead and get our Mark 1 command pod here. Let's get our solid rocket booster. In the very beginning, we have very little. Don't need any of that. Well, let's get some fins. That'd be good. Press X to do the mirror mode, symmetry mode, whatever it's called. But yeah, we'll do fins for a little bit of aerodynamic stability. We will put a parachute, always good for coming back down safely. and we will put on a couple of mystery goo containers. These are some of our scientific research that we will be doing, and these other two are part of the Kerbal Engineer Redo mod that I'm using in this, and that is what this window here is also for. It shows you what your delta V is, thrust to weight ratio, and in the compact that I got here. And we can see what those numbers are in atmosphere, so that's good. We can limit the thrust, because thrust to weight ratio 2 is pretty good. Anything over 1 is going to get you off the ground, most likely. Your delta V is the calculation, or the number that you need for change in velocity to make whatever maneuver you're making. In this case, it's going straight up. And we have 721 of those. As soon as it runs out, we fall back down. That number is much more important when we get out into space. The final thing we need to do is give this a name. Let's call this Flea 1, because this is the Flea solid rocket booster. And let's go ahead and launch. Excellent music in this game. So, let's just run through my mods that I'm using real quick. I got this docking alignment indicator. I have Kerbal alarm clock. I have the Kerbal Engineer Redo, which we've talked about. It's not going to do anything for us right now because I have not put that module on my craft. And then we have this experiments mod. It shows what scientific experiments we can run. For the first time, I'll just click on this stuff and so you can see what it looks like. Let's observe the mystery goo. And the goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. Let's go ahead and keep that data. The other thing that I have other mod is the safety indicator mod, which this icon in the lower left, which I just also realized I need to restage. In the lower left here, this is your staging. We want the chute on the last stage. The first stage here will be the solid rocket booster. And with that done, we can also get the crew report. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. Keep data. All right, and we have Jebediah Kerman here as our pilot. I believe that is all that we can do. Let's turn on stability assistance. Throttle doesn't really matter where it is because this is a solid rocket booster. It just burns until the fuel inside is gone. And yes, let's do it. Here we go, taking off into the wild blue yonder. Off we go. Something, something, something. I really don't know the rest of that song. But here we go. We've already completed our first contract. We have launched this vessel. And there is another contract that has been completed. We have reached a speed of 150 meters per second. Let's go ahead and collect the mystery goo observation from here. The goo jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. Keep that. Here's some more. Speed record, altitude record. And it's just a matter of waiting for this to come back down. Thankfully, we can warp time here. Let's go ahead and... There we go. We started going down. We're at 4 times acceleration. We have flipped over because that is how our craft is aerodynamic. I did release the parachute a little early, but I think we'll be fine. It will redeploy, or it will fully deploy at 1,000 meters above the ground. We just went straight up. We're going straight down. And here it goes. Fully deployed. We flip back around. And our speed here is at under 7 meters per second. While we're coming in for a landing, if you haven't seen it before, I will hit M to bring up the overall map. You can see where we are on the planet Kerbal, which is right there. You can see our apoapsis that's the peak of your orbit. In this case, the orbit is very, very tiny. We are not actually orbiting, but yeah, that's displayed there. When you mouse over, you can bring up the nav ball. We can go back here and complete that contract. We can do an EVA report now that we're back on the ground. Let's go ahead and do that. That's where Jebediah comes out and takes a look at what's going on. Now, a weird thing is when you are grabbed onto the spaceship like this, technically the game sees you as flying over wherever you are. Let's go ahead and keep that data, and since I don't have a ladder to get back into the craft, we're just going to board again. And that is our first mission. Let's recover the vessel and see what we can do next. Now, because we landed so close to the Space Center, we have gotten 33 science total. The part recovery value is 98% of the value. The further you are, the less you receive in funds back from whatever mission that you did. And good old Jebediah has gained 1 XP. So we will keep that. We will complete this, or mark that as complete. Now we have 2 more contracts. Let's just do escape the atmosphere for now, because we don't have a great chance of getting out into orbit with what we are about to buy. And I will go into, well, before we do that, let's go ahead and save. Always good to save. Let's call this save 1. All right, so now we go here. This, as I was saying, is the research and development tab. Everything in here works fine up until I click on something. The game may crash. I will try this, and if it doesn't crash, then we will continue on. If it does crash, I will just start recording after I have been able to buy everything that I can buy with our 31 science credits. So here we go. We'll try basic rocketry first. Yep, we are able to do this. We get the Reliant liquid fuel engine. We get a solid fuel booster, the Hammer. And we get a fuel tank. This is a small fuel tank, but it's good for now. And let's go with general rocketry and probably engineering. I think engineering crashes the game more often than not, but let's try it. General rocketry we can get the swivel engine, we can get the Thumper solid fuel booster, and a larger fuel tank. And we could go for advanced rocketry. No, we can't. That costs 45 science. Stability costs 18. Engineering 101 costs 5 science. Let's try and get it and see what happens. Oh, we didn't crash. This is actually amazing. I may crash when I hit the button here. If anyone from Squad is watching this, I don't know. I've tried all of the graphics card updates, but it still randomly crashes. I've tried doing it with mods, without mods. It's random. So let's click and see what happens. Hey, we got it. Okay, so it actually didn't crash for once. This is great. I still want a new computer though, so it doesn't crash ever. Let's go ahead and save this. Save one again. And yes, we have 155,000 monies to work with. The tracking station costs 150,000. Over here, we have the astronaut complex. If we upgrade this, we can get EVAs out in space. That's 75,000. And if we upgrade our mission control, we get more active contracts. And research and development, we can just get more science. Let's go ahead and not do any of that for right now. Let's try and complete our next contract. Which was, we have all these records, and then escape the atmosphere, which says you need to be flying a vessel to an altitude of 70,000 meters to achieve this goal. I think we can do that, not necessarily with this exact vessel, but let's delete that. We don't need this cockpit. Let's go ahead and put on, hang on, can we? Nope, we don't have our heat shield. We got our parachute on there. We can put more science. More science is always good. We don't need an antenna because we plan to bring all of this science back with us. Let's see, structural. Oh, we got a stack decoupler. Let's try that here. And let's go with the fuel tanks. We'll put on a couple of those. We will go with an engine. Let's go with that one. Actually, you know what? We don't even need all of that, I don't think. Well, it's not going to hurt if we do that. Let's go ahead and put it on. My thoughts were the solid booster could get us up there. But I just like the idea of having an engine as well. So we'll do that. This is going to be a long rocket, but it should be fine. Let's go with the solid rocket booster. Let's just go with the hammer. I believe this should get us up high enough. If it doesn't, we'll at least get some of these other records. And we want some aerodynamics just to not fly completely off course here. Let's put them there, and just for safe measure, maybe not necessary, go ahead and put them up here as well. Now, a disclaimer. I don't always know what I'm doing. All that I know about rocketry comes from Kerbal Space Program. And this right here, let's call this long shot 1. Jebediah is still our pilot. Let's go ahead and get Valentina in here instead. Get her an experience point. And yes, so we have our staging, we have our solid rocket booster, we jettison that, kick on the next engine. We can go ahead and combine those stages here. And then after that burns out, we jettison that and come back down safely, hopefully. Alright, everything looks good. We're not going to be able to get to orbit. We need a delta V of over 4,000 in order to achieve orbit. And orbits like that are usually also completed in more stages than what we have. We have 2 stages. We can do it in 2, but not with the current stuff we have. Anyway, let's just turn stability control on, put throttle up to max for when we jettison the solid booster, and we will quick save before anything else. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Now we can go to our map screen here and just take a look at what our apoapsis is doing. That is the highest height that we will be above the surface of the body we are orbiting. So we're going up, which is good. We will jettison that and just go. Hope that that solid booster doesn't land back on our pad, because that could be bad. And let's go ahead and cut off that. We got about half of our fuel remaining. We're at 40,000. Keep going. 3 and oops, a little more. There we go. 71,000 meters. That should be good. We are losing some speed, but I think we will be able to get out. We have completed many contracts here. We have done the altitude record, another altitude record, speed record, altitude, speed, and that's it. So as we continue to go up, yes, in Kerbal Space Program, we are in thin atmosphere now, so while we are dropping speed, we are not doing so because of atmospheric friction, so our height shouldn't drop too much lower than that. Right now, the slowdown is because of gravity. So we will keep going, and once we get up to our apoapsis, I'm going to do a few experiments. We can go ahead and prepare those. Speed up time a little bit. When you are in atmosphere, you can only do this physics warp, which lets you do 4 times normal speed. Once you get above atmosphere, you can just do regular warping. All right, here we go. Do all of those and keep all of this data. The mystery goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. It also appears to have become brittle. Very good. And now we make our journey back down. We are coming back down technically out of the atmosphere. It's a beautiful sight. And now we are back in atmosphere. We can do another mystery goo, see if that gives us anything. It does. The goo seems to be getting very cold now. I believe that was in high orbit or high Kerbal atmosphere. Let's go ahead and keep that. We got the record for highest Kerbal. And we have completed the contract. As we are coming back down, we are gaining speed, but we can minimize the effect of that by just turning on our rocket and do that for a little bit, just so we don't come in too hot. And we got another record here. Distance record. And that is all we can do. So let's just keep going like this for a little bit. Not going to jettison quite yet. Okay, let's go ahead and jettison. Oh, and I just destroyed the chute. because I pressed the spacebar once too often. Valentina is going to die. And that is Kerbal Space Program for you. That type of stuff happens. Good thing we have our save. Let's go ahead and reload that last save and just do all of that over again. That is not above me. Mistakes happen, especially when I am playing Kerbal. So you just gotta choose what you want to do about it, and I've chosen to reload. Let's go and blast off and try all that again. So we're going up, and I may fast forward this just so you don't have to sit through it again. Go hit spacebar only once this time, and that may have been a mistake also, but we'll live with it. Now we are losing speed because of atmospheric drag. We are getting into the thickest part of the atmosphere now. As soon as we drop below 5,000 meters and we have gone under 250 meters per second, it will be safe to deploy. So we will deploy the parachute, and there we go. We bleed off more speed, and we are keeping it at 1 times acceleration. There's our rocket exploding. Chute opens completely, and we cross our fingers as we get really close to the ground. You can tell in the daytime how close you are to the ground by looking for your shadow. As you can see, there it is. We cut it a little closer than I was hoping, but we're good. We're not quite at the mountains over there, so yeah, we're good. As soon as we land this, let's speed that up a little bit. And here we go. Almost down now. There is the shadow, and touchdown. That was the science module blowing up because we came in too fast, and it wasn't designed for that. Let's go ahead and do an EVA report while we're here so we can get some science data out of this. Climb back on board. Can we get a crew report? That's the one we collected while in space. We'll keep that. Yeah, that's that. Recover the vessel, and we will get more science next time. I think with this science we've gotten, I will go ahead and buy some good upgrades. We have gotten 90%, 97% of our rocket value back. Valentina has gained 1 XP. We have 48.7 science to spend and 360,000 monies. Here's all of our contracts complete. And yes, we will just call it an episode there. Thank you for joining me. Please leave a like on this video if you liked it, and leave a comment below if you have one. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you join me next time when we fly to outer space. See ya.